inside the subterranean war room of Sunnyvale Golfland, the temperature was frigid. Cold air hummed through ventilation shafts, cooling racks of old CRT monitors and industrial tape decks. This was NorCal's secret lab, the vault of stolen frames. While SoCal relied on raw instinct, fast reflexes, and individual brilliance, NorCal treated combat like a cold, exact science. Standing before a wall of glowing screens were John Choi, Ricky Ortiz, Seth Killian, and Shun. Arrayed behind them were the younger vanguard, Image, Scrub Killer, Corngo, and Inkblot, watching the monitors with intense focus. The tape archive. On every screen, grain-heavy VHS footage played in slow motion. It was footage recorded secretly at past Southern Hills and Stanton tournaments, scouted, filmed, and bootlegged by NorCal spies who had traveled south disguised as casual arcade spectators. The monitors flickered with clear images of SoCal's heaviest hitters, Mr. Power executing his golden power overflow setups, Deathwish demonstrating his genetically altered, high-speed Marshall stance transitions, Alex Valle resetting neutral with precise, spacing-based parries. "Look at that frame data," Seth Killian said, pointing a laser at the screen where Deathwish was executing a multi-hit combo chain. "SoCal thinks this string is unblockable. They think nobody can react to the gap between hit 3 and hit 4. Seth tapped a controller on his console. The video froze, zoomed in, and broke down Deathwish's footwork into digital wireframes. "They're wrong," Seth continued, a calm smile spreading across his face. "There's a 3-frame delay on Deathwish's pivot. If you step backward on frame 2 and trigger an armored parry, you bypass his entire mix-up." Dissecting and enhancing SoCal's style, Ricky Ortiz stepped up to the central sparring ring in the middle of the room. She drew her light-edge rapier and faced Bucktooth, who stood ready in full heavy iron gear. "Show me Power's low-tier rushdown," Ricky commanded. Bucktooth roared, lunging forward with a heavy, golden-infused shoulder tackle, an exact replica of Mr. Power's signature low-tier charge technique recorded straight off a Stanton cabinet. Ricky didn't panic. She didn't retreat. Instead of dodging like a SoCal player would, Ricky utilized the counter technique NorCal had spent months refining. She absorbed the outer kinetic shell with her vivid precision shield, slipped inside Bucktooth's guard, and delivered a 3-strike counter-puncture that sent the heavy juggernaut staggering back. "Good," John Choi said, his arms crossed as he observed the ring. SoCal invented that angle of attack. They created the mix-up, but they never optimized the exit strategy. Choi walked to the center of the room, looking at the entire NorCal assembly: Ohio, Easy, Campbell, Lisa, and Davezilla. "For years, SoCal called us thieves," Choi said, his voice echoing in the cold chamber. "They said we recorded their matches because we couldn't create our own meta. They said we stole their traps, stole their setups, and copied their tech." He paused, letting the silence settle. "What they don't realize is that copying was just phase 1, Choi declared. "We took their raw, chaotic strength, dissected it frame by frame, and rebuilt it into something cleaner, tighter, and utterly impenetrable. They fight with fire. We built the engine that harnesses it, the perfection of the counter." In the corner of the room, Pawn 3R and Kugi were programming automated drone targets to mimic Duck-Doo's shadow trap placements and Clockwork's temporal delays. Davezilla stepped forward, activating his kaiju shell. His body expanded into massive stone armor, completely ignoring the simulated traps as he walked right through the spatial choke points, shattering the test drones into scrap metal. "Their tricks won't hold us," Davezilla growled. "We know their roots better than they do." Suddenly, the lights in the lab flickered. A lone figure leaned against the tape rack in the far back corner of the room, tossing a blank VHS tape between his hands. It was Mr. Wizard. Seth Killian didn't even turn around. "You step quietly, Wizard." "I have to," Mr. Wizard replied, looking at the wireframe analysis of Deathwish playing on the main screen. "If Valle knew you had 300 hours of his footwork cataloged down to the millisecond, he'd march down here tonight." Mr. Wizard looked at John Choi. "So this is the plan? You aren't just bringing heavy armor down to the Fresno Pass. You're bringing their own moves back to them, upgraded?" "We're giving them a mirror," Choi answered calmly. "When Deathwish throws his best combination and sees Ricky counter it with a tighter version of his own technique, his mind will break before his body does." Mr. Wizard tossed the blank tape onto the control desk, letting out a short laugh as he stepped back into the shadows. "I've seen a lot of rivalries in my time," Mr. Wizard muttered as his form faded into mist. But watching SoCal's raw power smash into their own optimized reflection, this is going to be a legendary set.